Hi everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my space. My name is Marina Peters, and today we're going to talk about how to handle criticism. So, if this is for you, stay because we are going to have good nuggets that are going to help you to know how to handle criticism, feedback when you get them at your workplace, in your careers, in your business. This is going to help you everywhere that you want to apply. So let me just get my presentation ready and we can get started. If you haven't seen what I do, I'm a business mentor. You can go look at my website listed down below and check how you can start your own online business so that you can also add value in the lives of people and be paid for that. So what I do is affiliate marketing, and I am helping people to build their businesses in this area. So if you're interested, check it out. But right now I'm going to start talking about criticism. But first of all, I have to introduce for you the agenda, of course. I'm going to talk about the introduction, what that actually is, and then I'm going to share some research on criticism. And as you know, 80% of me, I do ministry, so I'm going to share biblical insights on criticism, and then we're going to check how to respond to criticism when it's unfair. What do we do? And turning this into growth is also very important. I'll just summarize everything and I'll let you go home with all the nuggets. Yeah. Now, for my introduction part, I would just love to share a story. This happened during my first year in the university, my first semester, my very first presentation. And I remember looking at the hall, after getting that assignment and seeing myself as very inferior. I thought, okay, this is all German students. They speak the mother tongue. They're very good in language. And now they're going to look at me presenting. My language skills are not that good. I'm going to mess up. I'm not going to make it. And all these negative things actually affected me because now I was standing in front of people and I was literally shaking, with my paper where I wrote my notes. I was just feeling so disappointed about myself, about the people who are looking at me, because how can you dare just sit there, look at me, and I'm all sweating and I can't do this the best way that I want to do it. But afterwards, I just realized that everything that was going on was actually on my mind. I was telling myself how bad I cannot, how bad I am, how I'm not going to match the standards of these people because these people were Germans and all that stuff. And that ruined my self esteem. And maybe you're watching me today and you've been told things in your life that have ruined your self esteem. You've been told you're not good enough, you cannot achieve certain things in life. And these are the things that we drag along in our lives, so that when God places us in certain platforms, now we are afraid of owning that platform because of low self esteem. Now, what is criticism? Criticism is a feedback that one gets that highlights flaws or mistakes, sometimes constructive, sometimes harmful, hurtful, and we all face it at work, we face it at home, we face it in ministry, we also face it online. We see it in our day-to-day online streets, right? When people are being abused, when people are being laughed at, and people are developing actually low self-esteem from the online space, right? So how do we respond to criticism? I'll come to that later, but how we respond to it shapes our growth, it shapes our peace, and it also shapes our relationships. So this verse is very good to start with. It's Proverbs chapter 1 verse 5, and it says, a wise man will hear and increase in learning. So if you want to learn, if you want understanding, then you have to listen to criticism and really analyze, what are these people trying to tell me? What is this criticism trying to tell me? How can I improve myself? And when you see criticism with that lens, then you are going to learn something, right? Good. Now let us see what the research is saying on criticism. We have to look at brain perception, negative feedback, and even harsh feedbacks that we get from others. So the brain perceives criticism as a social threat, So when we get criticized, all that our brain tells us is flight, fly, go out of here, get out of here, and just freeze, just freeze, don't say anything, or it just prompts the action to fight that criticism. So you find yourself defending yourself even before the person finishes to give you that feedback, right? And negative feedback, according to research of these two universities that you see there, it shows that it activates pain centers in the brain similar to the physical pain. So when someone actually hits you, when someone pinches you, slaps you, the pain that you actually feel is similar to the pain that one feels when one is criticized. Can you imagine? Now, let us move to harsh criticism. Chronic exposure to harsh criticism can increase stress hormones, cortisol, lower motivation, and damage self-esteem. For so many of us, so many people who grew up in toxic environment or spent their time with toxic people who told you over and over how bad you are, how you're not going to achieve certain goals in life, and we believed those lies. Actually, those people damaged your self-esteem. And if we allowed that to build who we are, then some of us do not even trust ourselves to do things that God has called us to do. And this is the truth, because so many people do not trust themselves to be who God called them to be because of the kind of criticism that they have gotten in life. Constructive feedback, on another hand, when delivered with empathy, promotes neuroplasticity, helping the brain learn and adapt. Now, my favorite part is the biblical insights on criticism. I want us to start by looking at Proverbs chapter 15 from verse 31 to 32. And the Bible says, if you listen to constructive criticism, if you listen to constructive criticism, you will be at home among the wise. And if you reject discipline, you only harm yourself. But if you listen to correction, you grow in understanding. So the Bible is stressing the fact that we are supposed to listen to constructive criticism. And I love the fact that the New Living Translation is saying constructive. That is what actually you listen to, because there are other criticism that are actually not constructive, right? Now, the second Bible verse is James chapter 1, verse 19, and it says, understand this, my dear brothers and sisters, you must all be quick to listen, slow to speak, and slow to get angry. Not all criticism is bad. It can refine us if we respond with grace. So remember, if someone gives you a critic, respond with grace. Don't be mad at the person. Sometimes they're just coming also from a point of brokenness. And if you understand them and, talk to them in humility, respond in grace, that is, it's going to calm them down. It's going to make them also see another perspective of communication. And in Proverbs chapter 12 verse 16, the Bible says, a fool is quick tempered, but a wise person stays calm when insulted. So you have to stay calm when you're insulted. That is when you're being wise. And we should also guard our hearts from destructive words. And our heart here doesn't mean the literal heart. It means the inner parts, the inner feelings that you have. You have to guard that. Don't let criticism influence your thoughts. Now that you have to start feeling and thinking that you're not good enough, don't let criticism do that to you, okay? Now, we want to see how we can respond to criticism. How can you, as a person, respond to criticism? The first very step that I would love to share with you, let me get myself off the screen first so that you can see all the writings, is pause before reacting. Pause and reflect before you react. A short pause helps calm the amygdala and engage rational thinking. Fools vent their anger, that is what the Bible says, but those who are wise quietly holds it back. Number two, I want you to separate emotion from evaluation. You want to get time to evaluate. You do not want to respond immediately. You want to pause so that it gives you time to reflect, and then you have time to evaluate what the person told you. So you ask yourself, is there truth in this? What can I learn from what this person told me? So don't bother correcting mockers, the Bible says. They will only hate you, but correct the wise, and they will love you. Instruct the wise, and they will be even wiser. Teach the righteous, and they will learn even more. That is Proverbs chapter 9, from verse 8 to 9. Now, in the third step, we are going to respond to this criticism, right? Remember, we are responding with grace. We are not getting defensive. You are responding, not getting defensive. So calm responses disarm hostility, and preserve relationship. And don't let evil conquer you, but conquer evil by doing good. So the fact that someone is mean to you and is giving you a critic that is not nice doesn't mean that you have to be mean to them and put them in their space. No, you have to be good and gracious to them. Okay. Now we know that not all criticism is valid, and some come from jealousy, some come from misunderstanding or even projection, right? But we have to practice self compassion because it reduces emotional distress and prevents burnout. Remember, at the end of it all, we just want peace. If you do not have peace in this life, your life is going to be miserable. So the end goal is to remember to protect your peace and don't internalize every word that people tell you. Jesus is a very good example here, right? Because Jesus himself faced false accusations, yet responded with dignity and silence. So, not everything is worth your time. Sometimes you have to just keep quiet, and that is enough statement. Now, growing, not growing, but turning criticism into growth. There are 4 steps on how to do this. Number 1, you have to reflect. Number 2, you have to respond and don't react. You have to refocus. And number 3, you have to reinforce identity. So, how do we reflect? We reflect by asking God to show us the true way to go to. Reflect on what someone has told you. Ask God, is this really the truth? Is this the true way that they're trying to show me? And then if it's not, learn to release. Number 2, respond and do not react. Choose your tone and your timing wisely. Number 3, let criticism strengthen your skills and character. Don't let it damage you, but let it strengthen you. Number 4, know that your worth is not defined by people's opinion. If you know that, the better. People do not define you, who you are. Your worth is defined by what God says about you. Now, I want us to summarize. Criticism can hurt. Yes, I know, but handled wisely, it refines us. Combine emotional intelligence with spiritual maturity and stay humble, stay grounded, and gracious to everyone who criticizes you. Growth happens not when we avoid criticism, but when we learn from it. I love that. When we avoid criticism, we do not grow. But when we do not avoid it, then we can be able to grow. So that is the most important thing that I would love to leave with you today. If you want to look at my references and also dig deep into this topic, these are the references that I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning into my space to listen to this. Once again, if you have any question, if you want to write me a message, there are my contacts. Thank you so much for watching today. May God bless you. And I hope to see you next time in my next topic. God bless. Bye-bye.